awesome. Gotcha. So you just have replays. So you can convert those into video files and like download them to your computer, I think, or put them on an SD card. So that's one way. I don't know if you own a capture card. That would be another way. Yeah. Other than that, trying to get on stream as much as possible if you go to locals, like asking the TO is a good way. Yeah, have you been going to locals? Gotcha. Do they stream? Yeah, for sure. But generally, you know, most TOs will be nice to you, and if you ask, they'll put your match on screen. Okay, so we did a consultation, right? But this is your first lesson, is that correct? Cool. So I will go ahead and host an arena, and we can get a few games, and I'll sort of give you some tips. So for the first few games, I'm going to be only talking a little bit because I'm kind of trying to focus on analyzing and seeing what's going on with you, seeing what habits I can pick up on, and seeing how you adapt. But then after that, I'm going to start being a lot more talkative, telling you like when things, you know, I feel aren't quite what they should be, or, you know, certain things like that. But yeah, let's go ahead and get an arena, and I can get sort of a feel for your skill level. How long have you been going to tournaments? Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. For sure, yeah. I think Smash Ladder is a great way to practice. I generally like to split my practice. If I want to practice something specific in like, sorry, give me 1 second, in like a low stress environment, right? Like say I want my ledge trapping to be better, something like that. I'll go on Elite Smash, right? And I will just not care if I win or lose. I'll be like, I'm going to hit 5 ledge traps this game or something, right? I'm going to focus on making sure my ledge traps are good. I'm not letting people roll. Or like if I want to work on edge guarding with a different character, I'll be like, I'm going to hit 5 edge guards, stuff like that, right? Or I'm going to play really good neutral. But then if I want to like actually simulate a tournament environment and like play some really good players, that's when I jump on Smash Ladder. Yeah, so I think they both have their use for sure. All right, go ahead and taunt when you're ready.
Prepare yourself.
So right off the bat, a couple things I'm noticing. You have good Bowser fundamentals, like you know what to do mechanically, and you know, you have combos and things like that, and you know when to go for grabs. I feel like you could use a more clear game plan, and for my understanding of Bowser, because you have a frame 6 killing like command grab, right? That makes shielding against you very scary. So when you're playing against a character like Ike, who kind of has trouble being aggressive onto you, because I'm slower than you, right? You generally have better frame data than me. I'm going to be playing defensive, and it's your goal to force me to shield, and then once I start shielding, use side B, right? That should be your whole game plan, is how do I make him shield? And you know, you do it with mixing up tilts on the ground. Up tilt can be really good for catching jumps. You want to make me afraid to jump by anti-airing me with Fair. And then once I'm afraid to jump, play the ground game, and you're faster. So you're better on the ground than I am. And then start finding those side Bs when you can. And when you jump in on me, you can mix up between landing with an aerial and landing with a side B, and I have to guess. So that's always going to be good for you. Like, I can't react. No, you're good. We're fine. The up Bs, it's very good because it's also very fast, but you got to mix in side Bs. I think you're not using side B or grab as much as you should. And so I'm kind of just getting away with shielding a lot. And then just out of shielding you over and over. Or just out spacing you, right? Yeah. It was close anyway because I took your jump, but I just did it instead. A little bit too much up you out of shield, so I'm just kind of spacing around you and trying to let you do that, because I'm not really afraid of you being aggressive onto me. I feel like you're just kind of mixing up your out of shield option, and I'm just out spacing it. Make sure you're using a mix of like rising fair, and then just grabbing or side Bing, right? You need to mix more, use more of your options, because yeah, side B's so good. That was a nice snag. But Bowser's normal grab is really good too. It's got so much range. But you want to use it like reactively to what I'm doing. Nice, that's a good grab. Now you get a free fair out of it. Maybe, I might have been 200%, but... That's a good parry, but one thing you might want to consider is if you get a parry, just turn around and grab me, or turn around and side B me. Because side B is frame 6, so if you parry something, you can almost always side B it if you're close to them. So, you know, parrying gets you out of shield for free. Do you know about all that? Okay, so I'll show you some basic shield stuff here. It's really important to know. So yeah, don't start it. Yeah, I want to show you. So when you're shielding in this game, you're technically at a disadvantage frame-wise. Like, do you know how frames work in this game? Gotcha. So there's 60 frames per second in this game, right? And you know what that means, right? 60 pictures that you see. 60, like... Yeah, well, no, 60 divisions of time. Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's like stop motion. Every time anything happens in the game, like period, any movement, anything, that's one frame, and there's 60 of them a second. So 60 things happen every second, right? Does that make sense? So moves have like a set startup and a set end lag, right? And that we usually measure that in frames. So like Ike down tilt frame 7. However, which makes it really fast. It comes out in like a little over 1/10 of a second. That's very quick. However, if you're shielding, you are locked out of certain options. Like you cannot drop shield and then down tilt on frame 7. There's a little animation. You see the animation where Ike is like spreading his arms apart? That animation lasts for 11 frames. And then when it's over, you can do whatever you want. So like, here's my jab. It's frame 4. You see how fast it comes out? But if I shield and then try to jab, do you see how much time is added onto that? So because of that, you need to be careful which options you use out of shield, because they'll come out much slower in general. Now, there are certain things in this game that completely bypass these 11 frames, right? For you already know the one, it's up the out of shield, right? You notice how when I do up the out of shield, I don't do this little arm spread animation at all? Yeah, and you can notice it yourself if you try it out here. It's one of those things that you kind of intuitively know, but you should think about, right? You should make sure you consciously know it as well. So yeah, there's up B, and then there's grab, and then there's up smash. Those options all get you out of shield for free. Yeah, those are the basic ones. Now, one thing you need to note is, have you ever used a website called ultimateframedata.com? You should pull it up right now. Yeah, I'll link you. Okay. Yeah, just click on Bowser. So here on this page, are you on the page with Bowser? You can see all his moves. So this is gonna, oh sorry, I'm just mashing, because it's not a real game. So here on this page is all of Bowser's moves. Their hitboxes, their frame data, their end lag, and I think it's important that you learn how to read this. Like, when you look at this, how much of it do you understand? Okay. Let me screen share for you. Can you see my screen? Gotcha. You should be able to just click on watch stream. I'm not sure how it works on the phone, but I can just walk you through it if you have it up. That's fine too. Okay, I'll stop streaming. Okay, so look at his jab. Actually, jab's not an amazing example. Let's go to something simpler. Let's look at his forward tilt. Do you see that? Yeah, and ground attacks. So it starts on frame 10, and if you click on the animation, you can actually watch it frame by frame, and if you count, you'll see that the red hitbox comes out on frame 10, right? So that means out of shield, because it adds on 11, it would be frame 21. So that's a pretty slow out of shield option, frame 21. So we don't use F tilt out of shield very much, right? It says... Yes, but when you're dropping shield, right? If you're gonna drop shield, the like arm spread animation lasts 11 frames, so you would have to add that on. So F tilt is something you want to use as a spacing tool when you're moving around, or as like a 2-frame option, right? You don't really want to use it out of shield. So you wanna be able to read stuff like this to figure out what's good out of shield and what's safe on shield. So you can see forward tilt is frame 10. And it's minus 15 on shield. Do you know what minus 15 on shield means? Yeah. That's how safe it is. So, in specific terms, what it means is if you F tilt my shield, go ahead. I can act 15 frames before you can act. So come over here, and I'm going to buffer a jump out of you F-tilting my shield. I want you to hold down the jump button as well, and see how much earlier I jump than you, okay? Yeah, forward tilt me, then jump. You're good. Oh, that was a parry, so it's going to be different. Hold on, let me get my shield back. Okay. You see how much earlier I jumped than you? That's because you hit my shield and it was minus 15. I get to start my jump 15 frames before you. I am actionable 15 frames before you are. Right? And that's why committing moves to people's shields can be risky. So the answer is yes, but jump also gets you out of shield, skipping that animation. Right? So jump, however, has a 3-frame jump squat every time you jump. If you look really closely, you can see it. The character like crouches down. You can see it on Bowser more easily if you jump. You see how he like crouches down before he jumps? That lasts 3 frames. So anytime you're going to do an aerial out of shield, instead of adding 11 frames, you would add 3 because you have to jump, right? So Bowser's neutral air out of shield is frame 11 because of that, because it says it comes out on frame 8, right? Does that make sense? Those are multi-hit moves for the most part. So on frames 8 through 29, it'll be hit, like if you're looking at the Nair. The first hitbox is active on 8 through 29. The second is 14 through 29. The third is 18 through 29. So basically, it's just like when the move is active, like when it'll hit. So if you look at a simpler move like forward tilt, it says it's active on 10 through 14, right? So on frames 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14, that's 5 frames of the move, it's active. It'll hit. Does that make sense? Yeah. So it's really important to know how plus or minus certain moves are on shield, because then you can know what you can punish, right? Go ahead and start the game. Because then you know what you can punish when someone hits your shield. And I think learning this is step 1 to really truly understanding the game and understanding what you can do against what. You need to learn to read this so that you can always understand. You can just look at this page for a character, understand what's safe on shield and what's not. Now, for you, your up B out of shield is frame 6. That's very fast, right? So that's why when I jump in on you with like a back air, right, you can just up B me for free. Or let's say I do an down tilt on your shield, right? If I do a down tilt, you can up B me and I can't do anything about it. Hold on, wait for your shield to come out. So my down tilt is like minus 13, I think, maybe 14. So that is a true punish. I can do nothing about that. So if I ever commit a down tilt, oops. If I ever commit a down tilt to your shield, you can always up B it, right? I'm shield poking you now because your shield's low, but yeah, wait for your shield to get full and then try like a dash. I'll dash attack you and you up B it out of shield, okay? Nothing I can do. That is 100% a true punish. Now, that's also why grabs out of shield are good, right? Because they also skip that animation. But one weird thing about grabs, this is a lot of information to remember. I'm going to send you a video I made on this subject. Because it's a lot to cover, and you're definitely not going to remember everything all at once. Yeah, and so I would definitely watch that and try to like truly understand what I mean by it. But I have like diagrams and stuff, so it'll make it a little bit easier. But yeah, so learning what you can punish out of shield with up B is huge. Because then it makes like dash shielding better, right? You dash in and you shield, and then you punish whatever it is with up B. Now, if you look at in specials, if you look at side B, flying slam, it is frame 6, right? That's really, really fast. That's like as fast as the fastest normal grab in the game. And the good thing about it is you can use it in the air, right? And that's what's so good about Bowser's side B. Plus it's a kill move. So one thing you'll want to do is jump in on people and then side B them instead of doing a move. Because what people will do, because out of shield options are like when someone hits your shield, they're usually minus, right? So what a lot of people do is they'll wait in shield and then they'll do an out of shield option to punish, right? So as Bowser, you can just straight up ignore that by just side being them, because a grab beats shield, right? So that's something Bowser has that almost no other character has. You know, other characters have command grabs, but his is frame 6. Most characters have to instead do a tomahawk landing and then grab, which is much slower, right? So for Bowser, your goal, first off, is to scare them into shield with your big scary hitboxes, right? So you want to be using, you know, forward airs, things like that to threaten them into shielding. And then you want to start landing on them and side beam. It doesn't matter. And then you want to start throwing side B into the mix to punish them for shielding. And then when they get scared of that and they start dropping shield, then you can start punishing them with hitboxes again, right? And then it becomes a big mix-up. And that's how you play offense with Bowser. Now, playing defense with Bowser, you also have one of the best out-of-shield options in the game. So if I'm coming at you and I'm just nairing or whatever, you can almost always just up B it out of shield, right? Because Ike Nair is -5. And Bowser up B is frame 6, so there's 1 frame of leeway there, right? One thing about frame safety when it comes to landing aerials, right? Because you see like Ike Main's doing like this all the time, right? The reason for that is because the move is -5, which is relatively safe, meaning you can act 5 frames before me, but I'm not in shield, right? So I have more options than you, even when I hit your shield here. Now, the thing is, that -5 only applies if I land my move as low to the ground as possible, right? Because I'm canceling my move. Yeah, and then I'll be able to move around. If I do like a super high, go ahead and shield. If I do like a super high nair and fastfall late, it'll be much less safe than -5, right? So that's how shield safety from aerials works. And because... Yeah, and I can also space it, so that's why Nair is so good, is like, yeah, I can make it so that you can't easily out-of-shield me. And that's why I was saying you were up being too much, because I can actually outspace it and bait it. It's still good. It's still an option you want to keep in mind in case I do like this and land up safely on your shield, right? Because then it's still a free up B, which is free damage. But you have to be aware of the fact that I have counterplay and that I can outspace you. So yeah, on offense, you want to be mixing up between throwing out a hitbox and throwing out a side beam. On defense, you want to be mixing up between up being out of shield and swinging with, like, you know, you can fair to anti-air people, or you can, you know, grab instead, because Bowser has such good grab combos and strong throws, right? And so you basically want to be playing out of shield on defense and trying to force people into shield on offense. Does that make sense? Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Abuse your side B. Make people afraid to shield, and then once they're afraid to shield, your hitboxes are going to work. Yes. And it's very important that you become aware of what you can grab and what you can up B. Yeah, I mean, there's the training mod pack if you have a Switch that can run it. But other than that, yeah, just practicing movement every now and then, practicing your combos, making sure that you can move around the level safely. For me as an Ike main, the first thing I practiced was this, making sure I could get low-spaced aerials as safe as possible with fastballs. One thing that like newer players often struggle with that I think you're past this point is consistently getting fastball or getting short hops versus full hops, right? Yeah, so a drill I run just to make sure my movement is crisp is I practice just short hopping, right? I'll try to get 10 short hop fastballs in a row and make sure I time my fastball at the top of the jump, right? And then I'll do 10 full hops in a row. And then I'll do the hard part, which is mixing up. Because then I can't rely on rhythm, right? I have to actually do it properly. And then, yeah, you can wire your brain to do it on command without having to rely on things like rhythm or muscle memory necessarily, right? Or it is muscle memory, but it's more complicated muscle memory. Yeah, so full hop fastball, short hop fastball, full hop fastball, short hop fastball. And then because I'm Ike, I mix in nairs to make them safe. Yeah, I mean, Bowser forward air nowhere near as safe as Ike Nair. I think it's -9, which is not awful, but or no, it's -11. No, yeah, it's -9, which is not awful. But if you're gonna hit someone's shield with Bowser Nair, or Bowser Fair, you generally want to tipper it, right? Or maybe cross them up, right? So if you shield, I could cross you up and land over here, and it's a lot harder for people to punish things that are behind them most of the time because you can't grab, right? Yeah, you could drop shield and then you could side B backwards, because that would be frame 17 though. Yeah, that being said, it's still a very good option because it's pretty fast and it beats shield. So a lot of people will do a safe aerial on your shield and then shield to try to bait your up B, right? One thing you can do is you can just drop shield and side B because they're shielding, expecting your up B. So if go ahead, yeah, you just drop shield and side B behind you, and it's technically not that fast, but what it is unreactable, right? So if they've come to expect you to up B out of shield, this is a great mix-up because they're going to be doing this, right? All right, go ahead and I'll cross up near you and then shield to try to get you to up B, and then you turn around side B. Yeah, I'm going to cross you up and then shield because I'm trying to bait out your up B. Then what you want to do is turn around side B. That's perfect. Yeah, that is going to screw people up so hard because they're not used to getting grabbed from behind. And also, it'll make you so much less linear, right? Because right now I feel like basically anytime I'm touching your shield, you're up, right? So you want to have more options, and I feel like that's probably going to be your best option. I got you. Alright. We can start over and get some actual games. Oh yeah, one more thing to note, and it's in the video. Definitely watch the video because I go way more in detail, and also it's something you can review whenever you want. If your shield gets hit, your grab out of shield has 4 frames added onto it. It just like locks you out of grab for 4 frames to make things a little safer. So that means Bowser's, if your shield is hit and you try to grab out of shield after, it adds 4 frames onto your grab. So yeah, so Bowser's grab out of shield is generally effectively frame 12 and not frame 8. So the good thing about knowing these numbers is if you have a frame 6 option, that means that you, like out of shield, which you do, you have up B. That means you know that anytime anyone hits you with a move that is -6 or worse, right? Because it's frame 6, you will hit, and there's nothing they can do about it. So anytime I fair your shield, my fair is -9, you can always up B it if I space close to you. Oh yeah, and then we were talking about parries. So yeah, parries get you out of shield for free. If you parry something, you can then do a tilt or something without the animation, right? So go ahead and, yeah, so do a landing fair on me. Oh. Yeah, do just like a full hop and landing. Oops. So hard to parry when you're like super focused on it. I'll get it. Oh my god. Just jab me. Do it. Yeah, do the full up so I can react to it. Oh my gosh, this is my fault now. You got it. You got it. You'll get it. There we go. See, I was able to down tilt and completely skip those 11 frames. So for you, anytime you parry, you should basically always be looking for side B, right? Unless you can kill them with like an up smash or something. Or a down smash. Because like your down smash is frame 12. That means that anything that's -9 or worse, you just down smash it out of shield if it's in front of you. Or out of parry, I mean. Yeah, so parrying not only gets you out of shield for free, it also adds 3 frames where they're frozen and you aren't. Yeah, so your down smash, which is frame 12, becomes 9 out of parry. Effectively. I explained all this in the video. I know it's a lot of information. Yeah, it's important to understand how the game works, just for future interactions. Yeah, and obviously I don't want to overwhelm you because there's other things we could work on that won't matter for that, but I think it's really important to at least know the basics of frame data, just so that you can figure out what options you can punish when you want to. By the way, anytime anyone's shielding on a platform, jump side B gonna be so good against them. Because most people aren't used to getting grabbed on plats when you're below them. But since you can grab in the air, it's free, right? Nice. That's what we were talking about, right? Landing side B is so good. Yeah, I think I would agree that you need to mix a little bit more. I always forget it hits people under flat. You're just hard committed, and I can understand why, because it's Bowser, so the risk reward's better than some other characters. But you know, if you're gonna go for a smash attack like that, at least go for one that'll kill me, like F smash, right? It's all about the risk reward. Make sure that there's 3 factors I like to think of when I'm like picking an option, right? There's how likely is this to hit? What do I gain if it does hit? And what do I lose if it misses, right? Yeah, so there you lost stock. And you would have gained a stock. Maybe. And it wasn't that likely to hit. So you need to calculate those three things when picking an option. And because of that, like, smash attacks and things like that become much better at kill percent than they would be at 0, right? Because the reward gets so much better. And then risk goes up as you take percent, right? Because if you're at higher percent, you're more likely to lose a stock. And so you want to base which options you pick based on stuff like that. Side B. Yeah. Yeah, just takes practice. Go in training mode. Have a little schedule. It's also better to practice for 10 minutes a day than it is to practice for like 5 hours just once. It was a good idea. Be careful, make sure you're mixing your recovery up. That up B is hitting you because you're going high up too much. If you go like as low as you possibly can, it won't be consistent. Especially if you like do the optimal mash, right? Have you learned about Bowser's like optimal mash on his recovery? Yeah, well you can just get a ton of height if you time your mashes right on the B button. Because you know mashing the B button makes you go higher for Bowser, right? Oh, unfortunate. Just got a little scared because you know you didn't have that many options.
I must move forward.
Yeah, okay, so whenever, and this is really important for VOD review to pay attention to this, you want to think about every time you pick an option. Like, say you're like, do I do an F tilt here or an F smash, right? You need to think about, what do I stand to gain for this? So like, do I get a stock or just some percent? Do I get a combo or just one hit, right? That's the first thing you want to think about. Then you want to think about, what do I stand to lose for this? So if it's a really low risk option, like say just like an F tilt, right? You're not really risking that much, so maybe it's worth it to go for it. If it's an F smash, it's really risky, right? Because you're super, you're in lag for a really long time, and you can get whiff punished. So you need to think about the risk and the reward of every action you do. And then you also want to think about how likely it is that you're going to hit, right? So that's like if you have a read on your opponent rolling or something like that. So you need to take into account all three of those factors every time you pick an option. So for me, if you're at 60 and I think an F smash might work, maybe I'll go for it. But only if the risk reward makes sense, right? If I'm at 120 and I go for this, I'm risking death. So I better be really sure it's going to work, right? And if you're at 0, I never go for this, right? Because like, what do I stand to gain? 20%? Okay, I would have gotten 20% out of down tilt back air, and down tilt's like way less risky, right? Way faster too. Yeah, so S smash would be super unlikely to hit, really committal. It just doesn't make sense. So you got to think about that every time you pick an option. It's like, what do I stand to gain? What do I stand to lose? How likely do I think it's going to be? All right. Count when you're ready. Fireball, that's crazy risk reward at all times. That was really cool. forgetting. Nice. Going high there's actually super strong. Good. You want to DI that like Bowser side. Down and in is generally gonna be the best. Yeah, and you'll live a lot longer if you do that. Good DI makes a huge difference. You want to make sure that as soon as the fire breath's not connecting anymore, you want to cancel it. Cancel it into shield. You can generally avoid punishes like that. It's not the most unsafe move in the world. So if you just start shielding and let go of the B button as soon as I'm out of the move, you usually won't get punished. Yeah, I mean, I do it when I feel like I need to. But at the starter level, you're at the point where you have a general, like, fundamental understanding of how movement works. You just gotta iron out the details. But yeah, when I was, first learning stuff, I definitely just practiced everything. Yeah, Ike's up throw fair is like just barely not true, so it catches people's jumps all the time. One tip I can give you is to look for the little white circle. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, whenever you double jump, that white circle is going to appear. Even if you get hit out of the double jump, if that white circle appears, the jump is gone, right? So be looking for that at all times, and you'll know when you have a jump or when your opponent does, or when you take it from your opponent. Get me on a flat. That's about half the time what you should be doing. Or side B, because it would have been about the same and it would have killed. That's still a bit of cheese I can do on Bowser. Sometimes you want to swing. If you double jump fair me, you can up the after and make it back, and you'll stage spike people. So if people are giving you too much trouble off stage, you can always swing back at them. You could just do a double jump forward air, or I would do it twice. But like, if I'm coming off stage, you can forward air me, just to stop me from coming out after you sometimes.
3, 2, 1, go!
It's good to recognize those moments when you're likely your opponent's going to shoot. Canceled it early there and punished. That's good. Careful with your recoveries. You need to be going low more often, because I can just, yeah, and that can be the result of you not playing against people who might be willing to go out there against you. But really good players are always willing when they see an opportunity. I snuck under you. Did I get the shield poke on?
I fight for my friends.
Oh, did you? That's my girlfriend's tag. I'm borrowing her Switch. Careful with your techs. Yeah, you gotta hit the techs. And make sure you're DIing out during combos, or people are gonna get much bigger combos on you than they would normally. Oops, I made my uppy the wrong way back. Again, be really careful with your offstage. I'm really exploiting it because you're not being careful enough with your recoveries. Gotta go low. Go low and swing back. Don't be a sit duck out there. There you go. See how much space that buys you? And then I died, right? You went from being a setting duck to putting yourself in a really good position because you adapted. Because I baited it out. I nared to the plat
I must move
twice in a
forward.
row, and then the third time I did that because I was hoping you'd upbeat. Good. This is going to be our last game, but then I'll give you a little summary, and you'll also have the VOD to study. And we can also, if you want to do a VOD review, we can do VOD review of the set we record. So, because I've been recording all of this. Also, let me know if you want me to make the VOD public or unlisted. It's fine. Okay. I make them public by default. Some people think they're unlisted. Nice. You're actually canceling the fire breath now too, which is way better. It makes it so much safer, right? Nice. Nice. Gotta stop going high. Gotta go low. It's something you can go in training mode and practice to make sure you're confident doing it. But as soon as you find someone who will exploit you on high, you gotta mix it up. See what I mean? There, I shielded because I was sure you were going to outbeat, and then you did grab me instead. It's all about those little mixes. What an option. Yeah, I did better. Alright, good stuff, dude. I will have the VOD up in probably about half an hour, and I will get you a session summary soon. Yeah. In the session summary, I always give a little to-do checklist, so I will get that to you shortly. No problem. That's great to hear, dude. Just so you know, there is a thing called a video testimonial that you can do. That, like, if you really enjoyed the session, it would help me out a lot, and you also get 5% off your session. So, if you want to do that on Metafy, that'd be cool. Otherwise, thank you very much for the session. Awesome. All right, you have a good one, man. Good luck.